I've often wondered exactly what an investment would look like in Bitcoin versus like the S&P 500. And, I always had an idea that it outperformed, of course. It's one of the best performing assets of all time, Bitcoin. But I didn't really have an exact idea. So I started doing some research. And so I initially started asking ChatGPT, give me some spreadsheets or give me a return calculator, Bitcoin versus S&P 500. I couldn't really find exactly what I wanted. So then I used two different websites, one for Bitcoin, one for the S&P 500. Then I thought, I'm an idiot. Why don't I just ask ChatGPT to tell me what the returns are? So here's how I started. Um, so I will show you my screen here. I started with this very podunk prompt that was not written well, but I said if I invested $10,000 1 year ago, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago, what would my portfolio equal now? Compare Bitcoin versus the S&P 500 and put it into a format that I can either download or copy paste into Google Sheets. And then, so I put that in, and then I told it to optimize my prompt to make it even better. So here's what that looks like. I'm going to copy from a Word doc over here, paste it into GPT, and I'll put this prompt in the description or maybe a link to a Google Sheet or something that has this prompt so you can just copy paste it and edit to your needs. But let's see what this looks like. What is a $10,000 investment into Bitcoin versus S&P 500 look like if I had done it 1 year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Let's see how our returns look. So 1 year ago, February 2024, if I invested 10,000 bucks into Bitcoin, the price back then of Bitcoin was $43,000. So today we had a crypto crash over the weekend where it dipped down to under 100,000. People were totally freaking out. We forget just 1 year ago it was less than half of that, $43,000. So the percentage increase in Bitcoin over the last year is 135%. Portfolio value would be 23,550. So you would have over doubled your 10,000. If you would have opted to instead put that into the S&P 500, your value would still be up quite a bit, actually. Geez, that's very good. So it would be 14,704. So let's compare 5 years ago Bitcoin versus S&P 500. So if I put 10 grand into Bitcoin 5 years ago, portfolio value $298,544. That's a lot of money. And it just makes me want to smack myself for all the routes that I've gone down. I've learned a ton about crypto by launching things, learning about liquidity pools, going to all these different little niches to try to find the most profitable routes. But had I just kept doing what I was doing and left my money in Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum and Solana, I would have made a ton more money versus trying to launch my own cryptocurrencies, learn liquidity pools. Hopefully, I didn't get washed out. So, anyway, Bitcoin portfolio 5 years ago, $10,000 investment would be worth $298,544. S&P 500, if I would have put 10,000 bucks 5 years ago, would be worth 21,857. I mean, that's a $270,000 difference. That's insanity. Now, 10 years ago, of course, everyone would have wanted to put money in Bitcoin. In fact, I had the opportunity to do it way back in like 2011, and I got talked out of it by some Ivy Leaguers that I thought were way smarter than me. Dumb decision. Anyway, so a $10,000 Bitcoin investment 10 years ago would be worth $1.2 million right now. In the S&P 500, that same 10,000 bucks would be triple, but only 32,676. So this just gives you an idea of what Bitcoin has been doing and probably will continue to do for a while now that President Trump and his crew are really pushing crypto and making some much needed changes in the SEC to give us clearer regulations. You have probably half the states in the United States right now introducing bills to have a crypto reserve. You have the US, of course, wanting to have a cryptocurrency reserve of various cryptos, not just Bitcoin. And many other countries around the world want to put a portion of their money, of their reserve, in cryptocurrencies. So this is probably just the start of something really, really good. Now, with cryptos, they have 4-year cycles, and many of the experts predict that sometime around May, June, going all the way through the end of the year, we might hit that bear market again where you hit the top and then it starts to come down for a while. And then we start that 4-year cycle all over. But I think there's still many months left to get in and get your gains. But this is a cool way to use AI. Use ChatGPT. This is just the free version. I don't even pay for the expensive version anymore because I don't currently have a need for it. But you can play around and see, switch up Bitcoin for Ethereum and see what GPT can do for you, and tell it to put it into CSV format so you can copy paste it, put it in a Google Sheet, and create your own formulas and algorithms and play around with your investments to see what's the best strategy. But from my personal experience over, walking this path for many years now in crypto and having invested and taking it out whenever everyone freaked out and the market dipped, and learning all of these different ins and outs in crypto, the simplest, most effective strategy is the most boring, but it's what all the experts say. Just buy a few of the top cryptos, hold them, don't look at them, leave them. They're going to be worth a lot of money one day because Bitcoin, especially, it's a finite asset. There's 21 million of them, and it's like 4.5 million of those are gone, have never moved wallets. So you have like 16 and a half, 17 million Bitcoin left for the rest of the world to divvy up. It's a finite asset. Gold, yes, it's also has a set amount, but they could find a massive gold reserve somewhere in the world, and that could change the amount of supply that we have, right? But Bitcoin, that's all there will ever be. And now that countries and states are finally adopting it, I think we're going to see prices continue to appreciate for a long time running. Quick update, GPT sometimes still thinks it's 2024, although it's February 3rd, 2025 right now. So what it did is it messed up and it calculated, instead of everything being calculated 5 and 10 years ago, it did it 6 and 11 years ago. So I noticed it after I created my video. I noticed it in the GPT breakdown. I told GPT to correct it, and I told it, the actual date today, and it went right back and fixed everything. So simple fix, but make sure that you realize that if you use the prompt that I'll put in the video description, make sure that GPT gets it right and doesn't jack it up. My name's Brett, aka Crypto2Surf. I'm a crypto developer, and I'm trying to give you some insight from this perspective as I've learned the hard way and got my nose bloodied in this space. I want to give good, sound, solid advice to people and not just hyped up fluff. So if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, turn on those notification bells. I will keep you updated on new projects that I trust from developers that I know. And then also, what strategies do you have in crypto? Please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear. And if you like this video, please drop a comment about that as well. I'd love to hear any kind of good feedback. Thanks for watching. God bless.